Hey everyone, welcome back to another gameplay commentary. In this game, we're going to be going over an Invisible Woman game, and the reset just happened, so I was in GM2 previously, and as you can see, it's a pretty high-level game. We have a top 8 and a top 16 on our team as well, so we're all in plat because the reset just happened, and so all the GMs, I believe we got like reset to Gold 1 or maybe like Plat 4, something like that, and then same thing with like Eternals got reset to Plat, and then everybody else got reset lower, like down 7 ranks. So this is going to be like right off the reset, new Invisible Woman gameplay. And I just kind of wanted to go over this game because I thought it was a really, really good game to demonstrate how good she is, as well as showing you guys, how to pretty much play her comfortably and what her abilities do and all that kind of jazz. So I thought this was a really good game to kind of show all those points. So we'll go ahead and get right into the game. The first thing I want to go over are her abilities. So Invisible Woman can double tap jump and she becomes invisible. While she's invisible, she also heals herself, which is kind of nice. But the healing honestly isn't that much. I really want them to, give her more healing because it seems very weak. Let me put it at that. But she can double jump and she can also use this to get out of the way of other people. It goes on like a 6-7 second cooldown. And then, of course, if she takes any action while she's invisible, she, becomes uninvisible. But you can still, like, reload and that kind of stuff while you're invisible. You just can't, like, pop up a shield or anything like that. Next up, we have her shield. You can put a shield in front of an ally. You can't do it in front of yourself, but you can do it in front of allies, and it'll also create a nice little healing aura around it. So the shield does heal and also blocks 300 damage. You can also walk up to it and heal yourself with it as well, right? Because it's an aura heal. And then you can keep casting the shield at will. By the way, that was a super, super, super good pounce from the Panther. I mean, that was insane. I haven't seen anybody do that with the Panther yet, so that was kind of cool. Or at least put somebody that far. In any case, though, so you can kind of keep casting shields on allies with no cooldown, but if it does break, then the shield will go ahead and be on like a 6-7 second cooldown as well until you get it back up. You can also press F to retract the shield at any point to put it on like a lower cooldown as it regens as well. And then we also have her left shift. This is going to be one of her really cool abilities, in my opinion. So her left shift, once you throw it out, it creates like a ball of damage, essentially. And people caught in that ball not only take damage continuously, but they also get pulled towards the center as well. And they also get slowed as well, I believe. But the slow gets increased, like the potency of the slow gets increased the closer they are to the center of it. So that's really, really neat. Sue actually has a lot of slow abilities, as I'll go over. And then her last one is her coolest ability, in my opinion. And that's going to be... Oh, wait. Did we survive this? Oh, that was a really good Manta Assault to help keep me alive. Us being aggressive with this Manta Assault is really good. But I'll go over all these plays here in a second. And then her E, which is kind of like a push-pull ability. She can push enemies away from her. Or she can pull them towards her. And this is going to be like her main CC ability. This could be really, really good against, like, say, Doctor Stranges that are trying to ult you, that you can, like, push them away while they're doing it, and also kind of bringing enemies in, especially into your left shift if you want to. And then finally, we have her ult. This is the famous ult that, makes enemies, or not enemies, but allies go invisible, and I guess enemies inside of it as well to make it hard for healers that are outside the ult to heal them. They also get slowed. It heals your allies, and it's a really cool ult. It only lasts for a few seconds, like 8 seconds, I believe. It's the same as Manta Assault duration. So, like, a Luna ult can out-duration it, if that makes sense. So you do have to be a little careful around that, and same thing with, like, Cloak and Dagger ult. But at the same time, too, it's, like, a really, really good ult in general. In any case, though, this is going to be a really, really good map for Sue because her autos are another really good pull from the Wolverine. By the way, this is why I really like having Wolverines on my team every single time. Like, if they have a lot of tanks, or if they have 2 tanks and one is just being a nuisance, having a Wolverine on your team is just like a free pick for a tank if they're good at playing them. I feel like Wolverine, like, not for the most part, but a lot of the times is just like a free win. But so the thing I want to say is Sue's autos are going to be one of the most potent healing autos in the game. You'll see why I like her, especially on maps like this. So Sue's going to be really good for maps like this one, Yggdrasil, that allow you to heal, or not allow you, but that allow allies to kind of like sort of stack together. That's kind of the home premise of this map, right? Like when you're pushing down a narrow path. So allies are sort of forced to stack together. And Invisible Woman's going to actually take a lot of advantage from this because her autos don't stop on hit. So the cool thing about our autos is they'll go through allies and they go through enemies, and they do have like a range. The range is going to be shorter than, say, Luna's autos, for example. But they do have another really good pull by the Wolverine. Magneto, by the way, is a good counter to Wolverine if he can, like, shield himself or shield somebody else. As you can see there, I think he, like, lived because he shielded himself. But if he can shield somebody else, it's going to be really, really good against the Wolverine. I won't say he's like a counter, but he's, like, really good against them. In any case, though, what you want to do essentially is that when your allies are stacked up, your autos are going to go through allies, and so you're going to be able to heal multiple allies at once. It's kind of like Luna left shift. Think about Luna left shift, right? Like you want to keep all your allies together, and Luna left shift is going to be able to pierce allies and heal them all at once. Sue can do that with the regular autos. On top of that, each auto heals for 40. But the autos are like boomerangs, so they come back as well. So as you can see here, like I'm just keeping everybody alive with my auto attacks, right? Like they go through somebody, come back, and they actually do double the healing, which is crazy. So they actually heal for 80, which is going to be more than Luna's autos. So this is why I really like Sue on maps like this, because not only am I being able to get some like aura healing for my shield and consistently, spamming my shield, but me auto attacking allies is going to be some of the most potent healing in the game out of any auto attack. And so that's kind of like the big thing I do this game. Now I ult right here because, we're kind of stuck at this corner and we need to push forward. And so I figured, okay, like this is just a really good ult, right? And even if the ult doesn't guarantee us anything. Oh, by the way, that's another really good reason. That's another really good thing to do is any stationary ally, you do want to shield them, right? So right there, Bucky tried to ult the Strange, and I believe Strange even thanks me later on for that. But Bucky tried to ult the Strange, and I just negated that ult with the shield, which was really, really good. So, but the big thing is that right there, I ult just because we're kind of stuck on that corner. And even if the ult fails for like whatever reason, we still have like 3 minutes to work with. So I know I'm going to guarantee get a few more ults off in the game, right? For that push. So that's why we were able to just kind of cast that ult off there. But I mean, as you could see, like while I was sort of explaining, I want to try to explain the plays here as well, but I also wanted to sort of break down her kit a little bit as to like why I picked her. I think her auto attacks are like one of the best things about her, right? Like that round alone, I got 15.6k healing, did 2k damage, and have 2.7k blocked as well. So that's the other thing I like about Sue is it kind of feels like she does a lot of everything, if that makes sense. Like, or not a lot, but like a little bit of everything. So like the thing about Sue is like you're gonna have high blocking stats because of your shield, right? Your shield's gonna that's gonna count towards your blocking, and you're also gonna have high healing stats because you can heal a lot with this character, with your shield heal, your ult heal, and of course your autos being the big one in my opinion. And then finally, you also are gonna have some really good DPS stats as well. Like super long games, sometimes I'll get like 12, 15k player damage, and those are going to be really long games, but point is, like, I'm a healer, right? Even though they're long games, like, getting that much damage as a healer is a lot, while still being able to maintain super high healing. So she kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, Loki a little bit because she has a lot of burst healing. Sue has a ton of healing, like, it's a lot of burst, but it's, like, more consistent burst than Loki is. So, like, Loki doesn't really, in my opinion, farm stats as well, like healing stats as well, because it doesn't really feel as consistent. But with like Sue, it's a mixture of like burst healing and consistency. So here again, I want to just kind of, well, auto my allies as you always want to do with support. But the big thing too is that the trick I learned is that you also want to keep your cursor onto your allies because again, you want that return boomerang, right? Like you want that return healing to hit them because you want them to take double the healing. You don't want that 40 healing, you want that 80 healing, right? And so when you auto an ally, you want to make sure the cursor's still on them so then they'll take that return as well. The other thing with Sue as well is because her autos like kind of go through everybody and don't and return to her, they didn't really give them too big of range. So I'm actually able to heal the Mantis there, but like the range on it isn't as crazy as say like Luna's range would be on her autos or like Cloak and Dagger. So you can't really play too far back like you could with other healers, if that makes sense. Like you kind of want to play in the middle ground between the fight. So here we got our ult. I decided to ult on this corner. Corner pushes like this on this map are really hard for like the offensive team. So I was like, all right, let's make it even harder by ulting. But Cloak has a really good ult and is able to sort of like negate a lot of what I did. Wolverine gets a nice pull, and we're able to kill the Strange off that, and I'm just trying to like spam my shield as much as I can onto these guys, and just back up a little bit, heal a little bit. If anybody goes on me, I'm ready to just sort of double jump. And that's actually the other thing too. I actually don't, it's kind of a habit to jump, but like I don't want to jump as much on Sue because I accidentally double jump all the time, and I end up wasting it sometimes. So take with that as you will, but sometimes I just end up using my double jump by accident. But also too, while you're healing, throw your shield up because it's going to block damage, but it's also going to heal them. So you're going to get even more healing off onto enemies as well. And then of course, if anybody's on the payload or anybody's in my face, I try to push them off unless my team's hard winning, then like you'll see me try to pull them in more. But like, look how much healing I'm just able to do with these auto attacks. Like I can like low key solo heal allies, for a little bit. Not saying I want to, but like we could do it if we wanted to, We already have our ult back, which is huge. That's another thing about like supports on these, type of maps, these specific maps, is that it's really easy to farm your ult because you have AoE healing, right? I'm able to heal multiple allies at once. So say someone like Cloak and Dagger is going to have really, like, she's going to be able to farm her ult easily. Same thing with Sue because you have AoE healing. And so you can use that to your advantage to really farm up your ult. That's why I love playing characters like this on this map, like this kind of map. The other thing too is that I use my shield a lot for people that I can't really necessarily reach with my auto attacks, or it's too hard to. So like I didn't have my shield there, but like if I did have my shield, I would be using that on the Hela. And you also want to use your shield onto allies that like Punisher and stuff like that are sitting on turrets, stationary targets, that kind of jazz. So we have an ult there. Probably could have done without that ult, but it was okay. Like we're still learning around Sue's ult. Sue is like her ult you have to be even more careful with because it doesn't last as long, as I mentioned earlier. But we're trying to escape here. We get a nice little double jump out, go invis, go to this health pack, pick this bad boy up, and we just want to try to keep healing our tanks. Again, we have really potent healing, so like all we're trying to do here is heal our tanks best we can. Get a nice little push there. That was actually a really good push. And then just try to keep this Strange alive best we can. Unfortunately, Squirrel Girl got buffed, and so did her ult. And so her ult just ends up killing me there. But we're making pretty good progress here. We got all 3 of the points, and with 3 minutes to spare, and these guys only have 10 seconds left. So hopefully we can stop them here. But yeah, I think like Sue, the biggest thing is just kind of overcoming her ult and knowing which one to use for your E, like push pull. Oh yeah, the other thing too with left shift, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but you can actually stop that. I can't believe that guy wanted me to heal him after he got pulled in right there. But you can actually stop the enemy, or not the enemy, so you can actually stop your left shift whenever you want by pressing it again. So it stops when it hits like a wall or something like that, like a Groot wall or a map wall or whatever the case, or an enemy. But you can stop it midair if you want to at any point by pressing left shift again. So that's pretty big. But here we're kind of just using the shield, using this barrier. I do want to use it a lot more on my DPS, I think, than my tanks, especially because my tanks are like easier to heal. But sometimes too, what I'll try to do is kind of hold it for when I have to reload, and that way it's like I'm always getting some sort of healing value as well. But for the most part, I do like just placing it onto my DPS, just because again my DPS is doing a lot of stuff. So here we're gonna counter ult the Cloak and Dagger ult. I think this is actually pretty good. We're gonna pull the Strange into our ult. We want to try to pull people into our ult whenever we can, because remember, our ult is going to slow them by 50% while they're inside of it, right? And it's hard for the enemy healers to heal them because they can't really see who they are or where they are. They can kind of see outlines of them here and there, like projections of their allies, but they can't really see them, so it makes it really, really hard to heal. So that's why we want to pull people in as well. Here we try to heal everybody, but we just end up dying. Squirrel Girl's ult is honestly insane. I think that buff they gave her is really good, and she actually feels pretty, like, super impactful in this map, to be honest. But we're going to go back up here with our team this time, and this is just perfect scenario for healing because they're kind of forced into this like small little narrow passageway, and so we're just gonna get like insane heals off here. They unfortunately get the convoy. It is what it is. Can't stress out about it. Again, we have a lot of time regardless, so hopefully we can just kind of like stop them here. But we're just gonna like watch all this healing in this little thing that we have. Oh, never mind. We got Magneto ulted. I lied. That was unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. But also too, like, her push is going to be really good here as well. So I don't want to be like too repetitive. I feel like I'm being a little repetitive right now, but I just kind of like want to show you the strength of Sue while she's sort of like in these tight corner spaces, like what exactly she's doing. Some of these shield plays are really good as well. And just like how much healing she has. I just think people maybe aren't using her correctly. They don't realize that like the returning autos are something that you have to kind of be aware of and, keep your cursor on your ally with. But yeah, I mean, like, I think her biggest things are just, again, like her ult and knowing how to use her E. But we're all going to be up here. We ulted. Unfortunately, we ulted right when our Mantis ulted, so that was a bad ult by both of us. We just didn't communicate that, I guess. It was just super unfortunate. Typically, I like to save Mantis ult more as like a counter engage tool. You can use it as an engage tool if you want to as well, but I like Sue ult for engage. But that was a really good push by us. And then we have a nice little... Like, look at all that space control we have, right? Like, that left shift is just so much space control. It's insane. We're able to kill everybody. Hela gets insane damage off onto them. Gets like triple there, I think. And we're just able to push up here now, too. We want we pretty much want to create space and make it hard for them to return. So like sometimes they say offense is the best defense, or like vice versa. So here it's like we're kind of being offensive right now because it's a really good defense, right? We don't want them to come to us. We want to sort of go to them, but we don't want to die either. But look at all this healing I can get off on these guys here as well. Get a nice little push there. I have Agamotto. We dodged that, which is good. And yeah, we're just chilling. Now we have ult, so we can play a little bit up. We can play a little bit aggressive. I do want to save ult as best as I can, but I thought I was going to die there. So I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and ult. And we probably could have held it for a little bit longer, but we're killing everybody anyways. Doesn't matter. No harm, no foul. And everybody's full HP because Sue's broken. I'm saying it, bro. I'm saying it. Like, look at this healing. Look at that. Like, what? That's crazy. And I could do that for everybody in that vicinity. Like, that's wild. In any case, though, we're going to end the game with like 6k player damage, right? Like almost 45k healing, like 9.5k damage blocked. I mean, it felt like we just did so much that game. I'm mad I didn't get MVP. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped you. Like, hopefully you learned some things about Sue's kit. Hopefully it inspires you to play her as well if you didn't like her, or if you were on the edge with her before. I really do think Sue is one of the best healers right now. In fact, my favorite combo right now, my favorite backline healing combo is Sue and Cloak and Dagger, because Cloak and Dagger can also increase, how much healing Sue's doing with her E, and Cloak and Dagger all last for a long time. But in any case, though, like, yeah, I think this character is super fun. Definitely try her out. She has a learning curve to her for sure. Like, she's not going to be the easiest character to pick up, but once you like really start to play her and feel for her and stuff like that, she's going to feel really, really, really good. So in any case, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot, and until the next video, see ya.